Yeah, I'm so mad that I didn't have time. Already?
Ready?
Welcome. Okay. Hi, everybody. We're excited to be here. Laura's our star, really, tonight because she's done all the work. And it's been really fun.
It has.
It really is fun for me personally, to just watch her evolve, because I asked her a little while ago if she was willing to do jeans, and she says no.
Very hesitantly.
I don't do jeans.
I don't do jeans.
I said, oh, come on, Laura, this will be fun. And she's like,
okay.
I'll be the judge of whether it will be fun or not. But it was fun.
It was fun, and it was a learning experience. Really and truly it was. But I'm glad I did it, and I learned a lot.
That's a big thing. Would you do it again?
Oh, yeah. I've already got the fabric on the table.
Okay, see, so
Yes.
that's, to me, kind of how you judge an experience, is if you would do it again.
Yeah, very much so.
So good. The goal is now is to take what she learned and transfer it onto you guys. So if you're hesitant to make jeans, or you don't think they're for you necessarily, they are. This is our pattern we're doing. It's 3300 Lana's jeans, and it's our March pattern of the month, and it really fits well. I promise. Not because I made it or drafted it anything. It really fits well.
As you will see after we do the fitting.
Yeah, you'll see all that. That's right. And so what we'll do is show you first where she is now, and then we'll take you back through the journey that we went through and the process that we went through.
Right.
Okay, so we're going to start with this fabric. That's her jeans. And her jeans, it's fabric number 4060. And the reason I tell you that is so you can reference it. We gave her this fabric a couple weeks ago. And so, there's not a lot of quantities left. And so I'm not really telling you that to sell you anything. I'm telling you that so you can kind of see what we chose and why we chose it. And for her, we didn't do a denim because I know you guys know denim.
That was too much of a change for me. That was a leap too far.
Yeah, but I told her to trust me, which I know that my father always said, if anyone tells you to trust them, don't trust them. Right, but she did. And so what I did do is I gave her twice the yardage she needed, so she could literally make a muslin out of that same fabric. I really do believe in the beginning that's really important. I recognize, like, this particular fabric, I actually checked. It was like $13 a yard, $12.99. So she would have had to buy 2 yards and then 4 yards. She would have had to have bought $26. So her jeans would have cost her $52 instead of $26. But I really feel in the beginning that's really important.
Very, very important, as it proved in retrospect. And this is what, holly cotton?
Yes. Yes. And I do think...
No stretch.
Right. A woven pattern. I didn't want to deal with stretch. Not yet. We'll go to stretch here in a minute. But I think that all of those steps are really important. We take one variable and change it at a time, so that when something goes askew, we know why and we know what to trace it back to. Too many changes at one time, just like a recipe that we cook with, we don't know what happened.
That's true.
Okay. So she likes her jeans?
I love the jeans. I really do. And my only concern at the time was, what am I going to wear with the top? So that explains the top, which is one of the 4 spring patterns. And I decided to go ahead and try it, and here it is, which I brought to
721.
Yes.
It's A&O's kimono blouse.
And I just made the top, and I like it a lot. And if you want to go into detail on the top, fine.
Yeah,
if you
let's do now. Okay. So her fabric is the 4211. I just put it up today. We pulled it a couple weeks ago, obviously, but I don't put it up so that everybody kind of gets an equal chance at seeing it. It is a rayon. She just did a little open blouse, A&O's kimono blouse. It has a little drawstring waist. It's just perfect for this. How she made it is amazing.
Well, I thought it was a masculine fabric. And I was in jeans, which I felt was a little more masculine. And so it needed, and besides which it needed a focal point, this fabric.
Okay.
And that's the reason for the insets and the lace. I wanted to get a little feminine with the lace.
It's adorable.
So that's the reason for the fabric.
721, you've got it. The 4210, did you do anything? Is that what this is?
This one, yes.
The black? No, the black.
Oh no, the black is just the old 195.
Okay. Is
Sleeveless.
that fabric 4210 though?
Oh gosh, I don't remember. This is 4 years old.
Yeah, no. So
this was the grade 8.
Forget that comment.
That's part of the grade 8.
Okay. All right. So turn around. Let's show off your top. And so again, her concern was when she started making jeans, because she hadn't worn them before, like what is she going to wear with them? And so I left these up too, because we can talk a little bit later about what we can wear with jeans and why it looks great. Jeans are typically close to the body.
Very.
And fairly snug. They don't have to be like that. It's all your choice.
I almost didn't call you.
But, you know, you don't have to wake up. You can make them as loose as you want. You can make them as tight as you want. That's circumference. That's size that we chose. Okay, so do you want to talk about, let's show off your jeans a little bit, because she loves her jeans and she looks amazing. I mean, I said you look amazing. I said something that didn't mean to say she doesn't always look amazing, because she does. No. But she really looks great. And did you have a belt?
I have to give thanks to my husband for his belt. I couldn't find a belt that went around me.
Great.
And it's a stretch belt. That's the only thing on me that's stretched tonight. A stretch belt. So I give thanks to my husband for this, for loaning it to me.
And that's out of his belt? He had
That's out of his belt. And like
I said,
you would
never know. It looks great.
Yeah, I know.
Looks really good. And she did all the details. She did all the top stitching. She just looks incredible.
Yeah.
What do you like best about the jeans? I know
fit.
the answer to this.
Yeah. The fit and the back.
The rear, the very thing
rear,
that she was so worried about.
I like the panel in the rear.
Yeah, she loves it because she told me what she wanted, and we did what she wanted. So don't be afraid to do what you want. She did not put the back pockets on. Okay? And the reason she didn't put the back pockets on is...
Well, my hips are crooked anyway, and when I put them as
she is asymmetric.
I'm asymmetric. And when I put them according to the pattern, they just did not look good and drew attention to the wrong things. So I thought
they would look really good. And so what I'm going to do later is just pin them on her because they would look adorable. They would. You know, I just think sometimes during the steps we get a little bit self-conscious. They would look absolutely adorable. All right, so before we change her into a muslin, because we're going to take you back to our journey as to kind of how we went through, do you want to make any comments? And do you guys want to ask any questions?
Any questions?
Yeah, comments that you...
The only comments were, it's very easy to sew. It's labor intensive because of the top stitching, and if you want to do it correctly, and I taped mine. I tried a double needle. I tried, drawing the lines. I tried everything that I could think of. The double needle did not work for me.
Too close together?
Right, and then when you got around the zipper, it was particularly bad, and then in the crotch area where you have to do the double stitching. So anyway,
I don't use a double needle. I always use single needle too.
Work.
So that's a good comment because I really just always do a single needle. I enjoy the top stitching process.
I do too.
So you just kind of pick a mark and go after it.
And get going. Yeah. And the only other comment that I had for me, I was not too happy with the leg circumference. And so I did in the muslin. And so we corrected that on this pattern according to what I wanted.
Well, I want to take you through that process, and we can do that now because she had a few questions she had to answer because I kind of drilled her with questions. And she had to come up with answers.
Yes, real quick.
I allowed her to make the changes. Because when we say, as sewers, when we say the leg's too wide or I want it narrower, those are so abstract that they're not numbers that we can really interpret into a flat pattern. How much narrower? How much circumference? How much? So she was really good, and she came back with those answers because she went and measured some pants that she liked. And once she had numbers, then we could plug them into play. And then you can really make progress. So if you don't have those numbers, and look, I've answered just lots and lots of emails on this. I don't have any, what do I do? You go shopping. Shopping is the way you save your time and money. You don't buy anything, but you have to try on and measure, and you're looking for a leg style that you like. And styling is so all over the board.
Individual, yes.
And I can't tell her what she likes, and nor would I want to, because at the end of it all, she says, I don't like these, and it's my fault. My goal was to really have her try to enjoy this process as much as possible, and to really get something at the end that she really would wear.
And would like, considering the hours that you spend.
Of course.
Adjusting, cutting, etc.
And I think that's why so many of us went to quilting, because we did spend all those hours, and at the end, it wasn't what we wanted. We didn't like it. And that's not, no one wants to do that. It's just not fun. Okay, so let's get some questions answered. What fabric did you end up using?
The Calvin Klein Cotton Poly.
It's number 4060. 4060 is the fabric she used. 4141 is the fabric that she's using on the cutting table. It's very different, you guys. And she liked it, and I just knew it's going to look great. She doesn't have it here tonight, but it's going to look great. It's a damask. It's an off-white.
It's an off-white damask.
It's beautiful for summer, and it's ready to go. But she did her gray, and this is the 4060. It's kind of a blue gray. Okay, does that answer that question? Yes. Okay. What else? Any other questions so far? All right.
We're good.
Let's go ahead and make
do you want to do
into your muslin.
Okay.
Those look so good. I mean, we might have you put those back on. They look pretty dang good.
Rare compliment from you.
No, her butt looks just, it's interesting. One of my brothers is a physician, and years ago, we would always meet, and when he'd have some kind of conference at some exotic place, the hotel rooms were paid for, and I'd kind of fly in, and we'd always have great conversations. And after one of these meetings, it was a plastic surgeon or a dermatologist, I think, that was giving a lecture. And this information is just not anything more than just kind of interesting. But what the lecture is how the sun deteriorates our skin. And so the dermatologist showed 10 pictures of different faces and just had the hair blocked out and everything, just the face. And the goal was that you had to look at and see how old the faces were and how old you thought each person was. And then he showed 10 pictures of butts. This is naked butts, just because, again, one sees the sun, one doesn't see the sun. And could you tell a person's age by their butt? And the answer is no, you can't. So as long as you can't, let's make it look good, okay? Let's make you look young. Do you want me to do that?
Yeah, because we didn't put the zipper in.
Yep. Okay, so this is her muslin now. And Laura, you can talk about, that feels like it's not going to fall down.
Okay, I might hold it for a little bit.
Okay. Well, I can take it in because I think we cut it a little.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let's talk about size first. Size. And again, you guys, if you have questions, we'll go through the questions. Benjamin will put a signal that we've got questions coming in, and we'll address those questions because I want to try to stay on topic as to where we're at the moment, so we can address them kind of in order, somewhat in order.
Right.
I'm going to put a little pin over here. Okay. Questions, Benjamin? Are we okay? This pattern is for a woven. This pattern, I'll repeat it. This pattern is for woven. I am going to talk about, after we cover the woven, what we're going to do for stretch. But this pattern is for a woven. Okay? Woven and stretch woven are different animals. They're not the same. We'll get there, just not yet. Let's just stick with woven just for a minute. Okay? Okay, so let's talk about size selection.
Okay, I followed the instructions for once, and I measured my largest hip, and then I sat down, and I went into shock because it took me into a whole different size. And I figured, well, if this was stretch, I would have one option, but this is not stretch, so I really have to stick with the measurement I don't like. So I sized it. I sized it according to my hip, and then we draped it according to my body. And therefore, I changed size from the hip down. And the waist a little bit.
And it fit her beautifully across the top. When I first saw them, I was like, wow, those fit really pretty. However, and we fit that portion. All right, I'm going to pin this so you don't feel like you have to hold on to it.
Okay.
When we fixed that portion, she goes, well, I have a problem. And I said, okay, what's the problem? She
Which
goes,
one?
I don't like them. So I said,
I'm very honest. If you're going to put the time and the effort in.
But I said, but they look so good. She goes, I don't like them. I said, okay, well, let's talk about what you don't like. So the first thing I want you to try to do is, if that's your feeling, is to ignore it. No, I'm kidding. Is to address why you don't like it. So it's just like you're communicating. I'm communicating with Laura. You're communicating with yourself. But you just want to pick out and separate what you don't like. So the only thing she did not like, she didn't like how big the legs were. That is such an easy fix, and that's styling. So that was our first point of change. For reference, let's just say, for an example, she made a size 20. She used a size 14 leg, or 16. What
16.
was it? Okay.
16.
So I'm at the hip line, literally, I'm sorry, not the hip line, the crotch line. Listen to this. At the crotch line is where you transfer going from one size at the top to a smaller at the bottom. And how we determined what literal size it was. We didn't just pick smaller sizes. We didn't just say go down a couple sizes.
No.
She made measurements.
Exactly.
Of pants she wore. She brought them back. I measured the pattern to find out, well, that's a 16. So then we went from the hip size to the leg size that she liked, including the hem size. When you take these numbers, you want to assign them back to the pattern to a size so that you know in terms of size, because that's how the pattern, you communicate to the pattern, what size at the hip, what size at the thigh, and going down.
And one thing that I learned about this, and you have spoken about it in past broadcast, but I didn't listen, or it didn't sink in about tapering and taking your French curve and how you taper in or out the waist by pivoting, and on the other hand, how you do the same thing with the hip. And the instructions in here are excellent. I didn't even have to call her.
It is. I know.
It's amazing.
Actually, I called her because I said, "Hey, I got to go out of town. Are you okay over there?" I won't be back till Tuesday. Today, I just got back today, and I'm like, "What surprises am I going to see on Tuesday?" And I love not seeing her until like the webcast because she's so good, and she just. Man, you set her on a course and she just goes, and she produces obviously very beautiful things. And so it's really fun. I mean, that's my joy of teaching all of you, is because you're so good. You're great at sewing. You're great at combining. You know what you like. You just
I know what I like.
Fitting help.
I do. I need a lot of fitting help because of the asymmetric hip replacement and all of that.
Yeah. Okay, so we are okay for questions. If you style your jeans to your preferences, at some point, don't the jeans become pants or slacks? That's a very interesting question. Yeah, why?
Well, because normally on my slacks, I have a lot more tapered leg, is one reason. And number two, these fit so tight here, or fit my body, I won't say tight now. It looked better not to have such an extreme taper in the leg. To me, it just looked better. I looked more balanced.
Okay, so a jean leg, I'm not sure why you'd make those correlation. A jean leg is smaller than a slack. A slack hangs straight from the rear end. A jean goes in. And if you look at the pattern, you can see how curvy that leg is. You can see the changes taking place. So no, I wouldn't.
So we have a difference there. I mean, to me, the trouser leg, the slack leg, I just like it better. I guess because it's not as tailored, maybe. I don't know. The back panel influenced my thinking about the jeans more than anything else.
Interesting.
Yes.
Well, and it'd be interesting to measure some of your slacks
right
against the jeans and see what the circumference differences are.
Some of them are 16.
Okay.
My slacks.
And this was what?
These are 17.
At the thigh.
And you'd think an inch wouldn't matter. But
it does, yes.
It does.
Inch is a lot.
Yeah.
I should quit fitting while I'm talking. Inch is a lot. It's kind of my natural tendency. So no, they're two different animals, and also just the way they look. The construction, the pockets.
And the fabric.
Yeah,
how
all
it
of
hangs.
those things. It's a jean look. I guess it's kind of like a jean jacket to me. Let me make that comparison, because a jean jacket is, obviously we've done it over the years in many, many different fabrics. When it's done in denim, it looks one way, but when it's done in leather or the myriad of other fabrics, it still is a jean jacket because of the features of the jacket and the features of the jeans, the pockets, the yoke, all of those things, but it looks completely different. And that's really what I wanted her to kind of play with and to show you was it's a no-brainer we're going to do it out of denim. But yet I have had so many jeans that were really beautiful fabrics that just, I love them because they were just that real mix. And they're pricey. They're expensive when you see them in the stores. We had some of that rag and bone fabric up, the tan, the green, the different colors, and that's what's in the stores right now. So the jean that's so popular right now is being done in lots of different fabrics other than just the blue denim and the black denim. So just FYI. Good question though. Due to cancer in my leg, I now have one leg bigger than the other. How do I pick size? That is your call. I'm going to tell you options, and then you can decide, because you can make, I use this analogy a lot, and what do people over 50 use for birth control? And Laura knows the answer.
No, I'm not going to tell you.
What do people over 50 use for birth control? And the answer is nudity. So the goal of clothing, the role clothing plays, is to balance us, to make us look better. I think, especially as a woman in her 60s, I think it's to make us look better than what we are. So then you have to decide what you want to do with that concept. Do you want to make both sides the same? Because to me, that would present to you as the same. Do you want one leg to be, those are all your choices, is all I'm saying to you. And again, because the hip is going to be the same, you just veer off and make one leg one size and one leg another, and it's completely your call. I honestly don't think, there's another expression that I've used often, a man in an airplane would never notice the difference. And if they're looking that close, you either kiss them or slap them. So recognize that, look, we notice things about ourselves that other people never notice. Laura's struggling with her pockets tonight. Yes. I'm going to show her pockets. Her pockets are going to look great. And again, that attention that we start to feel
self-conscious about.
Yeah, others are not noticing. They just glance at the pockets. They don't look and say, are they straight? Are they crooked? Are they high? Are they low? Are they even? They just don't look at all that. And so I think we need to recognize that and then make those decisions as to what we want to do. Prior to cancer, I've not had cancer, and I'm not the same on both legs or both sides even. Okay, but you've never noticed that, or no one's ever walked up to me and said, your right side is larger than your left side. So I do believe, though, when we have cancer, that we are it changes us. Of course, it's traumatic, so it changes us. So just think through how do you want to present yourself, and I know this is too long of an answer, and then just decide what you want to do. Okay? Okay. Any other questions on that? Okay.
Okay, and back to the fitting.
Yes.
Where we made a big change was through the waistline to make it tighter, which I probably would not have even thought of doing.
Okay.
Because to me, in the picture, this looks so low already. And I keep going like this.
Okay, so let's show picture number 1. We're going to show this picture number 1 first off because I want you to see it's time to make a muslin. And when you go to make the muslin, you can use the same fabric. You can use different fabrics. It's your call. I'm just going to suggest we've got some great fabrics at low prices. Buy double what you need. The 4209, by the way, is stretch denim. And we're going to be really slow on these orders because we got in the wrong denim. We got in one roll that was right, and then when I ordered off that roll, everything that came in was wrong. It all got shipped back. We'll get the new in. So if your order has a 4209 on it, be patient this week. It'll be out by the end of the week, but just hang in. The good news is he had more of that one, because it was the wrong, he thought it was the wrong one. So we got a few more yards, and I put those up. So if you tried to get 4209 and couldn't get it, it's back up. However, 4209, what I was going to say is it's a stretch. And the goal was to price it good enough that if you needed, you could get twice that amount. So when she's picking her size, she picked it by the measurements. Mm-hmm. It was bigger than what she needed, and so we started to take it in.
Correct.
And you want those jeans to be tight at the hip, because otherwise the band will stick out. Many women complain to me that the band sticks out. The band doesn't stick out because of the fault of the band. The band sticks out and shows that the waist of the jean does not fit properly. So if you look at this photo, you're not going to use all those parts. You don't need all those parts. When you make up a muslin, you're going to use 1, 2, 3, because that's the yoke, and then 5 and the 6. You need to take the 5 and the 6 and superimpose the pocket, onto the pants. Okay, everybody okay with that? She did not make it up with the waistband.
No, that's your specific instruction.
Right. You can, if you're nervous where the waistband will fall, you can. But she knew where it was going to hit anyway. And so we just went ahead and, she felt like she was comfortable with that. Mm-hmm. Okay, does anyone use rivets on their jean? Yes, absolutely.
I was not that brave on my first one.
Yeah, you just have to practice a little bit because, a rivet, if you don't do it right, you can take it out and replace it. But it's just a little plunk of a hammer, and it's kind of fun. Mm-hmm. I've done a lot of them. Okay, so let's go ahead and drape in. The first thing we're going to drape in this particular case, so she doesn't have to keep pulling up her pants, is the circumference. And so you want to take in both sides equally. Why don't you stay forward and I'll just pivot around you. Okay. That's probably a good idea. Okay, so both sides equally until it goes down to right about her crotch line. Don't go beyond the crotch line because that goes into styling, not fit. And if that's too big, you want to take it off each side of the leg, not off the outseam only.
And it does have that in the instruction, which is a good thing, I thought.
I think that we have a lot of preconceived notions about fitting, and so we're going to try to kind of set the record straight on those. Okay, is that feeling better?
Oh, much. I'm not.
Yeah, anytime you're not losing your pants, it's probably a good thing.
Unless you're prepared.
Never feels good to kind of lose your pants. All right, there we go. Okay. Anything else? First thing is circumference. Now, length, always go LCD. Length in this is where the crotch is, and she's already okay with where that is. So I did kind of skip that. I'm sorry, you guys. When the waistband comes in, are you okay where they are? Do you feel like they need to be higher or lower?
No, you said it was a personal choice. In the pattern, it says that the waist fits 1.5 inches below.
Yeah, this is a good topic.
And that's
I'm glad.
one of the things I wanted to stress.
Yeah, although she didn't like them there. She didn't want them there. So I said, you don't have to put them there. That was just, we wanted to tell you what we were expecting out of the pattern. So you don't ever want to change a pattern out of the box because it may fit you differently, and just do the muslin first. All right, and then go through that process. If your waist on your jeans are too low, after you put the crotch where you want it, how do you fix the waist? Do you add to the yoke as well as to the pant back? Okay, good questions. You don't want to change the yoke. The yoke is not a size thing. If you notice when you look at all those sizes, the yoke does not change width-wise. So don't change the back yoke. All you need to do is slash through below the pocket area and below the yoke area. I think there's a lengthen or shorten line in the pattern, but I couldn't swear by it. And just add your length in there. If it's an inch, whatever it is. Just remember, an inch, what she said, an inch is a lot. I think it's hard to know how much more you want unless you add a muslin, unless you make a muslin. So I'm a big advocate. It's hard to do it with measuring. It's inaccurate to do it with measuring. But that's how you would do it, and that's where you would do it. Where is your supply from? Supply for the rivets. I don't have a good supply. I don't. I would go, I'll tell you who has them, is Benno's Buttons. Benno's has a beautiful supply of rivets. You do have to get the tool. I'm not sure if they sell the tool, but Benno's has a great supply of rivets. Different kinds, different colors. Benno's is beyond amazing. Okay. All right, so we've got the length, we've got the circumference. Remember, circumference, don't try to take circumference out of the leg. Stop at the top of the crotch line. Because Laura said to me the leg was too big. Don't try to take it out with pinning along the side seam because it's wrong outseam and inseam. It's time to go to a smaller leg, and that's when you can cross on the pattern and go to a smaller portion.
And we also took some out.
Okay, let's go to the back because she had, she felt like it was just too loose. She didn't have the waistband on, and so it wasn't gapping. But you can see when I come in here that it just feels a little bit too loose. So I'm going to snug that up. And you're just going to put a little dart at the top of the yoke. It'll go to nothing at the bottom of the yoke. Basically, it's just going to curl that yoke up a little bit more. Don't alter center back seam. Center back seam is already on the bias. And I don't want to curl it, angle it. I don't want to do it any more than it's already done. Okay. All right, then we're going to go to depth. And again, you guys can ask questions as we go. We're going to turn Laura around, and I'm going to come forward a little bit here. What we're going to show is you're going to see the wrinkles in the back of her legs. That they're not bad, but we can make them better. That's the goal. The goal is to make them better. And so that is, if you go to Benno's, yes, B-E-N-N, it is 2 N's, I think. B-E-N-N-O-S, Benno's Buttons. And they have a great website. In fact, it's so good. They have so much. It's going to take you a little bit of time to get through it all, just FYI, okay? So if we go to the second picture that I have, I want you to see, this is the alteration I'm making. It is a dart, and it's probably the most misunderstood alteration because notice it goes to nothing at that side seam. And there's so many who stop before the side seam. They take too much at the side seam. They literally, notice the widest point is at center back, and that's right here. It's the fullest part of your hip is where you're taking it, and you can see that just lifts the back of that pant straight up. And it goes all the way over to this point. If you are fitting yourself, which Laura was not doing, I was fitting her. Stand sideways into a mirror. You can see that the leg is not, straight. And you simply take your hand and you reach it back behind you and you pinch up right there while you're standing in the mirror, and you'll see how much needs to go. And then a lot of times what I'll do, because I'm doing it on myself, I'll put a pin right here, and then you can sew the rest of it. You don't need all these pins. It's a straight angled line from point A to point B. The reason it has to be that way is because the pattern has to lay flat. So it's not like it's curved or any secrets or anything. It's straight angled lines. This is the widest point of the dart. It tapers to nothing over here. You don't need to do both sides. We did both sides because Laura is asymmetric, and she was concerned that they would be different. They actually, were they different? I don't think they were. No,
this one it worked out fine.
Yeah, I don't think they were. So a lot of times, you guys, I know we have things about ourselves that we're a little self-conscious about. I think we'd be surprised how symmetrical our bodies are. But drape it. Okay, and that on her, those are the only changes we made until it came to the leg. So we changed the angle. This is the darts. The darts are going to be built into that yoke, so you want to, when you cut this new, you'll see that it has a greater curve to it. That hangs that slack beautiful. And this is her circumference. So now she loves the leg, she just wants it smaller. Okay, and we'll show you that's the next part. Okay, what changes do I make if I want the front lower, but the back is fine? I think it's a really good question, you guys, because so many women, and I kind of forget what you all think, so many women think that somehow the front and the back have to be the same, or, I don't know. No, just follow where you want it. As long as they meet at the sides, it doesn't matter where you want the back. It doesn't matter where you want the front. Just make a match at the side. And if you want the front lower by inches, take it away. Make it that easy. Just lay a curve on it after you're done and make sure it follows a curve. That's all.
And my front is lower than my back.
Absolutely.
If you look at it from the
Everybody's
side.
is. I mean, nobody wants their front, well, I shouldn't say no one. There'll be somebody out there who does. But not very many want their front up that high. It's much more flattering to go low. And I've said to many women over the years, please lower your front waist. I mean, we just look old, and
I bet you had a hard time putting that one over. I mean,
yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, it's been a very hard thing to, and all I'm trying to do is help you look your best. That's my only goal. I'm not trying to win an argument. I don't care what you do, but I will tell you that the lower they are in the front, the thinner you look. Okay? If I have larger upper legs, can you use a larger leg? If so, not understanding how to do that. Absolutely. So, yes, you can, just to answer the question clearly. So I want you to imagine the French curve at the side seam. And there is a picture in the instructions, the French curve on the side seam. Once you get to the crotch line, just hear me out. Once you get to the crotch line, you're going to take the French curve and pivot it in if you want a smaller leg. All the leg sizes are stacked on top of each other. So you've got a 20, you've got an 18, you've got a 16. So you're going to leave the 20 here at the side seam and pivot the bottom of the curve into the size 16. If you want larger, just pivot it out. So you can go either way. You're basically playing Mr. Potato Head. You're putting one top onto another bottom. Bigger, smaller, it doesn't make any difference which way you want to go. Okay, same concept. Okay. Will she be able to sit down? Can you sit down?
Mm-hmm. Sit down over here.
That's just too funny that y'all would ask her that. Why would we make pants for her that she couldn't sit down? When my mother had, I always say that joke, my mother had her pair of pants. She called them her stand-up only pants because she couldn't sit down. They'd fit so beautifully, and the only problem is she had to go to a car. There's no cars that you could stand up in. Okay, well I didn't miss the second part of that. What was that?
What about the back door?
Oh, same question. Okay. Will she be able to sit down? Yes, she already has. She was sitting down and I upstairs when I walked up the stairs. What if you sit down, the back really dips uncomfortably? Good question. Okay, that's a crotch depth issue. So when you're sitting down, your crotch depth, it's actually, well, it's your crotch length. It's your crotch length. So your crotch length, the distance between your crotch and your waist is increasing in the back. And so that's why you notice it in the back. And because you don't have a lot of circumference, you don't have a lot of place for your body to go, it's going to take up that length. So if it's uncomfortably low when you go to sit, then you need to drop the pant down under your crotch more. There's not enough ease. Now, Laura... Go ahead.
Okay, I had a
question. We'll talk this through.
Sure.
So, Laura, we all on the same page. When I ask somebody to put your pants where you want them, and I just take in the waist, I don't go into long diatribes about why they want their pants there. I just don't do that. For yourself, if your pants, when you go to sit, are really pulling down badly in the back, they're too close to your crotch. Period. You know, the pant has no stretch. That you may be used to wearing clothes that are just too tight to your body, so give them some ease. That's ease in that crotch depth area. I mean, it's the length of the body, but it's called crotch depth. I hope I'm not confusing you all.
I have a question.
So go ahead, Laura.
On the back crotch, you said that it was slanted to begin with, and
Yes.
that's why we should not take it in at the center back, but rather at the sides.
Right.
Okay, if the back
And
is...
the problem really isn't the side. The problem really isn't the center back. The problem is circumference, and I can solve circumference in many ways. One of them is darts.
Okay.
And because the yoke is, the darts are built into the yoke, it makes sense that the darts are probably just off a little bit.
Okay, because this is for my benefit,
right?
And
no,
for further pain. So if you have a back crotch slanted slightly and then curving around and the back is uncomfortable when you sit because it sinks down, and this is a question maybe totally off the wall, would it ruin the fit of the back crotch, which you already have perfectly, to lengthen the tongue of the back crotch? That would ruin the thing.
Well, it's not. So let's put your hands back up, because there's the crotch.
Okay.
See, here's the slant. There we go. Here's the crotch. Okay. The problem is not this. The problem is that this ends up without enough
length
to match when you go to sit.
Right.
What gets longer is that length. So I'm going to take the whole thing down and add to this.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes. That solved it for me. Okay. And maybe somebody else.
Very crude learning terminology here.
But we get the idea.
But she started it. Okay. Okay. I can barely make a back dart. If I can't grab anything, should I not bother making the dart? Yes. The darts are there to help you, not frustrate you. So the reason I did the back dart in her yoke was because there was more, I had taken it evenly on both sides, and there was still, she felt it was too loose back here. So I could then isolate a dart as to where the issue is, just to fine tune, and it's going to work better than if I tried to take it in more at the sides. So you get options.
That answers a lot of questions.
Yeah, you don't have to always go to the side seams, and so many of us are just side seam driven. Especially with a yoke. Again, the yoke is, those darts are built into that yoke, and they're just not right for you. How many pants do you buy where the darts are right for you? So look at adjusting the yoke if you need some help in doing that. If you lower, then there is no pull. If you lower, then there is no pull on the thigh when you walk. So a pull on the thigh has nothing to do with the crotch. The pull is total circumference. So I don't care where you put your crotch. If the circumference on the pant is right, you won't have the pull, and if the circumference is too tight. Now, keep in mind that your leg, it's like a sleeve. When you move forward, okay, you max out the sleeve circumference first, and then it pulls the back. Your leg is the same thing. You max out the leg circumference first, and then it pulls in the back. So many people say, oh, well, the back's too small because I can't move my leg. And that's just completely wrong. It's just that the leg circumference. That's why, if you will measure pants that you're wearing, pants that you like, those problems get kind of answered for you. And I think it's really, really helpful. It's really helpful as a sewer to understand the pattern, to understand the numbers, and to understand how they play a role in your physical comfort from fabric to fabric to fabric. Okay? Okay. If I want the leg circumference smaller than the smallest size, does that mean you need more darts in the leg of the pant as it gets closer to the body? Okay, this is a question that when I hear it, I get nervous, because you're mixing circumference and depth in together. Those are two different issues. If you want your leg circumference smallest than the smallest size, I put up several videos, if you go to our YouTube, and just type in grading. Because what I want you to do is grade down that pant a couple more sizes until you get to the size you need. Darts deal with depth, not circumference. So you don't need to be more darting. Darting isn't going to help you get the circumference you need. Does that make sense to you?
Very much so.
Okay. She's going to be my sound check person, my tech check person for me. Okay, so hopefully that answers for you. Grade down. Learn how to grade. It's very easy. And if you're smaller than the smallest when you get to that leg, grade it down. Get the sizes on there you need. Figure out how much more you need. And then just go from one size to another. That's all sizing. That is not depth. Darting is depth. Okay, good. Okay. How do you transfer the horizontal back darts to the pattern?
I've got the pattern piece if you want to look at it how we do it.
Okay. Okay, Laura
I take it back. I take it back. I brought the blouse pattern.
That's okay.
But you can show
You can tell.
Yeah. To transfer these darts here,
yes.
okay, you pinch, or is this one here she's talking about?
That one right there.
Okay, you pinch out the back and stand in front, hopefully.
Now hang on half a second. Remember, you have twice as much fabric as what you need. That's the first pretense we're going to go on.
Right.
The second pretense is that you didn't want to do that and you're using a different fabric. So the first pretense is sew them in, put them back on,
and adjust.
And use that as your pattern.
And that's what I did.
Okay, that's actually what Laura did.
Mm-hmm.
But because we were draping you tonight, she took all the changes out so that you guys could go through the process with us. Okay? So we were doing it once for Laura, and now we're doing it again for you. So, you know, the way we did it is a little different. But because you're using the same fabric, I would stitch those changes in, make sure they're right, make sure they feel good, sit down, move, all those things, and then go ahead and use the fabric as your pattern. The next picture we have, if you'll go there, is showing you how to draw the grain line in, because I've gotten a lot of questions the last few days. Will you show how to draw the grain line in? The grain line goes from the center of the dart, the bottom of the dart, I'm sorry, which is 4 inches from center front, center back, same thing, to the center of the hem. You can change the leg all you want, just redraw that grain. Okay, and it's same in the front as it is in the back. Even though you physically don't have a dart in the pattern, the dart is still there. It never goes away. It just changes faces, okay? But it's still there. It's kind of like our moms and dads, okay? They're just in us. They never go away. Okay, so that's, Laura changed it. Did you use this as, or did you actually took the changes back to the tissue?
To the tissue, yes.
Okay, and you can do that too. And you can tell how to do that. You can tell them how you did that.
Okay, for this dart here, on the tissue.
We're going to call that the hip dart.
The hip dart on the tissue, I laid it out and pinched out above the crotch.
How big it was.
Or below the waist, or the yoke. And pinched it out. I drew a line straight across. And it was a pinched out of 1 inch, which would be a 1/2 inch on each side of the dart.
Good girl.
Ah, yeah, I learned from you.
Good girl.
Okay, a 1/2 inch. That's where I've made that mistake so many times.
It's easy. Many of you have made that mistake.
So
that's why I said, good girl.
Yeah, so totally you're taking out 1 inch from 1 inch to 0 at the sideline, a side seam.
Good girl.
And then you pinch it out and pinch it out on your pattern and tape it.
Right. So they're easy to do. It's just a matter of, you know, what I worry about, and I've been in plenty of workshops, is I see mistakes made. I see a 1/2 inch tuck get 1/2 inch in the pattern when it should be 1 inch. I see mistakes being made, and then you say, whoa, these don't fit. What did I do wrong? Or what's wrong with the drape? There's nothing wrong with the drape. It's simply the translation from going to the drape to the final. So I'm a big believer in getting the double fabric, just sew it, make sure it's right, literally leave all those changes in, take out the front, separate the front and the back, lay it down, draw on a grain, and make that your pattern. That's, you know, easy. But it's you know, it's your dollars and your decision as to what you want to do. What can I do about extra fabric at the crotch? Vertical at each side of the center front, pass down crotch on the front. Okay, no. So this is where I talked about if you have excess at the crotch, you've got too much leg circumference. So that's where going from one size to another is really going to help you. Literally, is really going to make a difference. Laura, her crotch, not to talk too personal, but her crotch was really cleaned up after we went from that size 20 to that size 16 leg. Because when you're coming around to the front and you're at the, you're coming around to that crotch curve, once you get to the 16 leg, the 16 leg goes up to the crotch. So you've cut out all this extra that you've put in there. And you do that on the back also. Once you come around to the crotch and you've hit that, you take the 16 leg and you extend it all the way up through the crotch, that's where you stop. So it takes out all that extra fabric that's in there. So the fact that you have too much fabric at your crotch, that is an indicator that your leg is too large and you need to adjust those sizes. Okay, if I can't pinch a dart out at the largest part of the hip, should I not bother taking out that dart? Yeah, no, if you can't take out that dart, no, you shouldn't take out that dart. You don't have to take it, but I'm going to promise you most people, well, I can't say that.
The center back?
No, she's talking about this dart right here.
She
can't pinch this out.
Oh, okay.
No, if you can't pinch it out, don't take it out.
Or if it's very small, you could ease it in.
No.
3/8, you can't do that? Okay, see, I knew it.
We have
to ask these questions because all of us do this.
We don't want jeans eased. Okay. We want jeans to be a 1-to-1. We want them right on. How to measure for woven pants. I only have some type of stretch for the pants. I own and wear. I have no woven pants.
Oh, that's
okay. We can go to stretch woven. You can do the same process just with stretch woven. The only difference is if Laura started with a size 20, she's probably going to pop down a size or two because the fabric's going to do the work for her. And there's nothing wrong with that. You'd still probably, in her case, you would find a difference between the hip and the thigh, the hip and the leg, and you can merge them the same way. So the bottom line is there's not a lot of difference. The stretch goes around the body. Go ahead.
And I have a question too, versus woven versus stretch. If you've only worn stretch for a while, and I have, when you sit down, the stretch gives, so you're pretty good. Mm-hmm. But if you have a woven and you try to sit down, it's going to either pull or something, would it not?
Absolutely.
If you got it too tight.
Absolutely.
So that was why I went into shock at what size I actually picked out and then narrowed it in at the top and the bottom. But this size stayed the size that I measured sitting down.
Well,
is that logical?
Yes, it is. This side stayed. You're right. We did take in the top and we did take in the bottom, didn't we? Mm-hmm. I didn't think about that. Mm-hmm. But now on a stretch denim, because you've got stretch going around, you can't make a woven. She couldn't take this woven pattern and go put it on a stretch denim and expect it to work. It's kind of like putting a blouse on a t-shirt. You're not going to like it. They're different prospects. And so you really have to be careful to not just look at all pants the same because they're not. Okay? If you can't pinch out of there at the hip line horizontally, should you skip that dart? Yes, skip that dart. If you can't pinch it out at the hip line, skip that dart. So you are taking the leg circumference away from the outseam at crotch line, the outseam and the inseam, both. If you take it away from the outseam only, you're throwing off the crotch, you're throwing off the balance of everything. Don't do that. Whenever you're changing a pattern, ladies, if you'll look at the grade, if there was no, like for instance, if Laura decided to make a smaller top here, she wouldn't change center front because if you notice on a pattern at center front, there's no grade change. All the center fronts are together, all the grades going on at the sides. So it would be okay to just take off the side. But when you're looking at a pant, because of that grain line, you're getting grade from size to size to size, outseam, inseam. So that is your indicator that then if you need to change size, you can't just take it off from the side. Okay, that's your little warning to yourself as to how to do that.
Oh, but I've done that and I tried. It
doesn't
work.
It does not work. You can try it again if you want. Okay, I'm just here to tell you, you can try it as many times as you want. You're not going to get the product that you're really happy with. I want you to have the crotch and everything clean and tight and good and look really nice because remember, your butt's not going to give you away your age. You can't tell. It's never seen the sun. I could say it's never seen the sun, but then I don't even want to hear the stories that you're going to tell me back on how your butt's seen the sun. I don't want to go there. Does sway back need a dart? No, the yoke will probably take care of sway back for you. And if you have a sway back in a denim, well, you usually don't because the denim is below your waist. You only get a sway back when the pant comes to your waist. That's definition of sway back. So most likely in a denim or in a jean pattern, you won't see a sway back. And if you do, you can take care of it in the yoke. When leg is pulling on the front thigh when you walk, do you add just a bit of circumference to the front right below the crotch? No, I would never suggest that you try to isolate circumference and where you add it to. It is equal all the way around. The problem is not isolated to the front. The problem is circumference total, and the front and the back make up the circumference. Okay? So I would add it to the sides, and I would add it front and back equally. That way they both still look very slim, but it just gives you a little bit extra that you want.
Even a quarter of an inch would be...
A quarter of an inch is going to give you a half an inch, and on a leg and a knee, that's a lot of mobility. And again, it depends on that fabric. There's no question that a stretch denim is going to give you more mobility, more comfort when you're sitting. That's why they're so popular. Woven denims have come back in, and it's hard to find right now. I mean, the stretch denim's hard enough. The woven denim's even harder. But we did have a little bit, and I don't know that we have any left. But that stretch denim is wonderful because it looks just like denim, as you can see, but it has that beautiful little give to it. So I would make that stretch denim instead of wrapping it around your hip and sitting. I would wrap it around your hip and start with a smaller size. We're going to get Laura there on a pair of jeans. We're going to get her.
We hope.
No, we're going to get her into a real pair of jeans.
Yes,
real pair
a
of
real
jeans.
pair of jeans. Okay.
Not a faux jean, a real jean.
Okay, a real jean.
She
Do I have
great.
to put rivets?
She looks great.
Do I have to put rivets?
No, you don't have to put rivets. I'll put the rivets on for you.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so thin legs. If I take out seam and an inseam, you're changing the size. Do you understand that? You're not just willy-nilly, because that's why I want you to go by size. Figure out how much you want to take out, figure out what size that is, and then transfer from the top to the leg size and take the differences at the crotch line. Does that shorten the crotch depth? No. Take it in legs at the inseam. Not if you do it properly. So you have to lengthen at the waist. No, none of that. You're kind of speculating what's going to happen. Take a French curve, put it at the side seam, pull the bottom of the French curve in to a smaller size. That doesn't change length. That doesn't change depth. That doesn't change any of that. When I have a French curve at the front and I bring it into a smaller size, that doesn't change length, doesn't change depth, just changes circumference. Okay, that's why we're doing this webcast, just to kind of set the record straight. We do have the jeans DVD because I just got back in town this morning and I'm about a week behind. So that's on sale, and that goes through all of that, and it goes through all the changes too. I don't remember how much it's on sale for, but we took it off and we put it on sale for a little bit. But I also want to show you my top because I got an email that, and I know it's a wine color, and Brett, I'm going to have to beg you to kind of come in on this so they can see it.
And I will just sit over here while you show this.
Well, you can stay here.
Okay.
This is the Elise blouse. So this is the companion pattern to our PBS. And someone emailed me the other day and asked if I had a picture of the pattern, and we have it, but it's not really ready to kind of put up. And the pattern on the front is dark, so it's hard to see. Is this cute?
Oh, cute.
I know, it's really, really cute. So we're going to come in a little bit, and hopefully you can see it a little bit better. It's got this, it's a kimono sleeve. It's a woven. It's got this amazing twist in the front.
And princess style?
And it's asymmetric. Well, it's princess style on one side and a dart on the other side.
Oh, I would like that.
Yeah, it's really asymmetric, and it's really a lot of fun. The back has darts, and it just fits. And you can throw it on over your head, and you don't have to have any openings because the neckline comes open. And then once you make it, you go back in and pinch here to kind of secure it all so that the parts don't fly open. But anyway, the directions have made it very, very... Oh, there you go, Brett. Thank you.
Oh, that's great.
See, so this is asymmetric over here. There. Isn't that pretty? I love it. I just love it. I fell in love with it from the very first thing. Now, what we did, well, it's three pieces kind of coming together. So where there's no buttonholes per se. They just kind of wrap around each other. But the directions, we labeled the notches on the side so that you know where to go. And actually, we're going to have a sew along on it. Just because I want you to see how easy it is. That 900 series. So this is the pattern, the Elise blouse, that comes with that 900. I know I've had many questions on what's the pattern. We don't have it up. You're buying blindly that 900 series, and we really do appreciate it. The pattern is free with the 900 series, and we do have to take that down. Like, it should have been down Sunday. Like I said, I'm behind. So I'll probably leave it up for a day or so, and then we can go from there. Okay? Okay, if full thigh, full tummy, excess fabric between. So bags when you sit, and front thigh pulls when sitting. Okay, so just an FYI, whenever you go to sit, the front of your body gets shorter. You are always going to have extra when you sit. If you're standing and you have that extra, I think what you're describing here, take a little dart right in the front. Just like I did that dart in the back, take a little dart in the front, and it will be about 2/3. It'll be like at the bottom of the zipper. Hypothetically, if there was a zipper there, it'd be at the bottom of the zipper. You're going to take a little dart, and it's just like the back. It'll go from center front. It'll taper to nothing at the side seam. And watch other videos that we've done on pant fitting, and you'll see that particular alteration. Laura didn't need that, but I've done it many times, and you'll get a good view of it. And I want you to separate your issues. So extra fabric here and taking out that dart doesn't have anything to do with your pants pulling. When your pants pulling when you're sitting or walking, I don't care which one it is what?
Walking.
Circumference.
Yeah, circumference, yeah.
Circumference, okay? So that's circumference. You got your legs too tight, and you can't move. If you're using stretch denim, it's okay. If you're not, then you got to make it to your comfort level. Okay, if we want to use stretch denim, what do we use for the muslin? Boy, stretch denim, or the muslin we have. The muslin we have is pretty close to the stretch denim. The 3117 is our stretch muslin, and that is actually, it has one-way stretch, and it goes around, and it kind of has a texture of a stretch woven. It's a knit, but it's very close. So that would save you money over doing the stretch muslin out of the denim. Okay, hope that helps. Which PBS series? This is the 900 series. We did a pre-sale on it when we started it. COVID hit, and APT or PBS, sorry, has allowed us to do a secondary pre-sale, but we have to cut it off. We can't even go past the first. Like, I think we have to cut it off in the next couple days. So I said Sunday was the last day, and it's still up. So it's the 900 series, designers and their contribution to the fashion industry. And then this is the pattern that goes with it. Get it now. You get it cheaper. It's cheaper if you get it now. It will be released all over the country, and we'll start shipping it the middle of April. So we've got it coming soon. We've got all the parts and pieces done. We're just working on final details. If your back pulls down when sitting and you need to take up in the back to remove the wrinkles in the back leg, how would you adjust? Okay, so two different things here, you guys. If it pulls down, oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, okay. I'm going to use your rear end. Sorry. It seems counterintuitive. I can understand why you say that, but let me kind of make a comparison that you might understand better. If I lower the neckline on a blouse to accommodate my neck, that doesn't change where the bust dart is. The pants, garments are made up of individual lengths. It's not one length works for everything. So lowering a neckline doesn't change where the bust hits. And that's the same with a pant. I'm actually pulling up this so that the crotch length is accurate. That isn't the crotch depth. Those are two separate entities. And that should help you. And again, if it's still fuzzy for you, do it. Go through and do it. Promise you that the information's accurate. I'm not giving you information that's just I made up or it's willy-nilly. It's actually in the books, taught all over the world, and it's accurate. That should help you. Then go back and just study. It's going to take you some time to separate crotch depth and crotch length. Okay? Can you show us a lovely purple and black top behind Laura? Purple and black. This one right here. This is what is this blouse number? 720. 720. It's beautiful blouse. Yeah, it's got a sheer overlay. It was on last week, 2 weeks ago. If you go back, we've got the fabric on there. 720 is Sherard's blouse. Sherard's blouse, because it was the blouse Monica loaned us. No, it's a beautiful blouse. This is an overlay. I mean, it's beautiful. And it's perfect. It's just so pretty. Blouses, the reason I left it up is because the blouses, they're wearing jeans and silk blouses together, and they're beautiful. It's just a really beautiful combination. You have to go back 2 weeks ago to get the fabric numbers, because I don't know them off the top of my head. I wore this, threw it back on the mannequin. I just love this. This is so cute. You can put a little black tank underneath it. And then this is Candosa's, and I just made it angular. So all of those are just really great additions. Where do you order it? You go to our fabrics. You go to silhouettepatterns.com, click on our fabrics. Oh, but first, if you go to the very front page of our site, and over on the right-hand side, it's view our previous webcast. If you click on that, it'll take you to a page. And on all those pages, after every webcast, these guys spend an hour or more putting up all the patterns we used, putting up all the fabric we used, so that you can go to those pages and click on them and get all the information of stuff we used. So this would be, I have no idea of the date today, nor do I have any idea of the date 2 weeks ago, but if you go back 2 weeks ago and go to that webcast on that page, it'll have all these fabric numbers, and you can click on them and all the patterns we used. So it's just a real good resource for you. And a lot of you don't even know about it, but view our previous webcast, go to that page, and it'll have all the information for you so that it's easy to see and very readable. Where can we order Series 900? Thanks for asking, you guys. We really need your support. COVID has really hit our businesses hard, and it's hard for them to give extra money to sponsor a PBS series when they just don't have it. So we really need your help more than ever, 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 ever. If you'll go to fit2stitch.com, and the 2 is a numeric 2, not a TWO or TO. It's fit2stitch.com. And then go to series information, or you can go to FNQs. FNQ, or
Frequently asked
FNQs? Yeah, FAQs. Yeah, it's in both of those places. All right. Any other questions? Can we order the top pattern separately? You will be able to. It'll be on the PBS, but we just don't have it ready yet. And then, of course, we won't release it until end of April. The pre-sales, we'll get it a little bit before, and then once we have it available, it's about a month from now we'll have it. Couldn't you make the muslin with short leg length and then taper the final garment if you want changes for the legs? You know, I really appreciate this comment because it is a very logical comment. It's just wrong. And the reason why is if you make it with short legs, a lot of the problems that you see when you are fitting a pant are caused by where the leg and the knee interact with the leg. That's what causes wrinkles above. So a lot of times if you'll make a pair of shorts that end at the knee, it does not, it won't show you the problems like once you go full leg. So it's kind of penny wise, pound foolish. It's not going to actually save you. It'll actually deceive you as to what the real issues are. So I really appreciate that comment because I've been asked that more than once, and just don't, okay? Just don't do it. You do save a little bit, but it's not the best thing to do. Okay, anything else? Are we okay? You guys can do this. Jeans are so fun and they're so current. And I had a couple pictures of jeans and I didn't have time to get them, but in the next little while or maybe the next webcast, I'll put up pictures of jeans. There's so many wild jeans out there. So one of the things that I saw was just all kinds of patchwork. So you know those squares we're selling? Just imagine them all sewn together and then the jeans cut out. It's like reverse quilting. They're adorable, but they were like $500 at Neiman's. I mean, it was like amazing. I thought, oh my gosh, those are my squares of fabrics. So anyway, there's so many great jeans out there right now, and you can just kind of do anything. They're wide legs, narrow legs. They're just all over the place. And Laura's got jeans.
I got jeans. Yes,
Laura's
more
got
coming.
Jeans. You guys, she really worked so hard. She took so much work off of me. So I have to say thank you.
Oh, no
and
problem.
she got some fun clothes.
No, I got some fun clothes, yes.
But she helps you all.
Yeah.
You guys listen to her and you hear her and you trust her. Sometimes more
than
me.
This very much.
Oh, the 721.
Yeah, that's going to be good.
Yeah, it's really a cute little pattern. It is a great basic. I get real confused about crotch length and crotch depth. Can you explain a difference showing a pant? Yes, let me show you real quick here. Laura, you're going to help me. Okay, here's my best explanation that I can give you. So Laura's hand right here, I'm going to turn sideways for me. This hand right here is her waist. Okay? This hand is her crotch. And to go from here to here is called crotch depth. It is the length of the body, but it's called crotch depth. It can only go up and down. It's like your bust to waist, waist to hip. This is your waist, this is your crotch. It can only go, you can either add to the top, don't change the crotch, add to the top, take away from the crotch, go up and down. This is crotch length. You're going to hold that here. It comes around and comes in and meets the crotch. So this is the part that goes around your rear end. And if you notice, I can change this and it doesn't impact the distance from here to here. Tape measure is crotch length. It's really the depth of the body, which is why so many of us get confused. Hand to hand is crotch depth, but it's the length of the body. Now, if you just sit there and play this over and over and over, you guys will have it. So I can pinch this up and take away that extra fabric, but I'm not impacting this portion. This portion of the tape measure does not impact the distance from hand A to hand B. Okay? So taking pants in on a back center seam throws off the grain. It does not throw off the grain. I did not say that. Oh, does. I'm sorry. Thank you, Benjamin. No, it does not throw off the grain. It throws off the stability because the center back seam is already angled. To take more off that crosses grain, and what we know about when we cross grain, we get a very unstable bias. I want the pant to be stable, so I want to use all of my tools so that that center back seam is not unstable. I have heard many of you say, well, I took it at the center back and it's growing and it's growing. And that's because you've made it so unstable that it can't, it has no choice. So quit taking center back. Take it at the darts, take it at the yoke, and then change the angle of the dart. The problem and why you take it at center back is simply because if you buy jeans, you can't change the yoke. You can't change the angle of the yoke. You can only do it at center back. And so we have a tendency to go there when it's not the right place. But if you're making for yourself, don't go to the center back seam for that reason. It's instability. How do you accommodate a full tummy? You pretend you don't have one because there's nothing you need to do differently. There's nothing a full tummy does that changes an issue. It's an issue you have with yourself, but not with the pattern versus the body. It's circumference, depth, just ignore it, okay? Pockets, you were going to put some on. Yeah. Let's look at her back rear end just for a second.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
You need the other pants on.
Well, kind of, sort of. We're gonna make it with this. Okay. So here's, you can't see her yoke line, but what I want you to do with pockets is I want you to make them straight with the center back seam. Don't make them straight with the yoke line. There's two ways pockets are done. They're either straight with the center back seam or they're straight with the yoke line. And if they're straight with the yoke line, they're going to go out at an angle, and they're going to look awful. They're going to make your rear end look twice the size it is. But if you take them and do them straight with the center back seam, do the same distance on both sides, it'll be crooked with the yoke line, but they'll head straight down, they'll point down, and they'll look amazing. And they are marked that way on your tissue. I did them that way. But sometimes when you guys go to put pockets on, you don't follow our markings, you just kind of put them where you want. And so there's times where someone will come into class and show off their jeans, and I can tell they didn't follow the markings because their pockets on their rear end are going like this. And your rear end looks twice as big. You want your pockets going straight like this. All right? Very easy. And if you start noticing women's rear ends, boy, it's a big deal when those pockets aren't right. And it's just a good thing for you to notice because they look bad. They look really bad. I don't care how skinny you are. They still look bad. All right, so those are the pockets. All right, everybody got it? Jeans or Sally's pant, try to fit first. Sally's pant is going to be less work because it's a slack. It's not as close to the body. The jean is closer to the body. I'd probably go to Sally's first, but you have to understand what you're doing to do either one. And so once you get your homework and practice, be brave. You'll do fine. You'll do good. We've done plenty of jeans, you guys. You guys are doing a great job. I've seen plenty of jeans made up, and you guys come show them off to me, and they're fabulous. Okay? We're way over time. We're keeping Laura.
Oh, that's okay.
Okay. All right. Anything else? All right. Having said that, thank you again.
Well, thank you.
All right, everybody. We will see you in 2 weeks. Oh, another question? Sorry. One more question. Does taking in on a back leg seam throw off grain? Yes. You're not supposed to take it on the back. You're supposed to take it equal front and back. Okay? Anytime you change the crotch down, you want to change the grain. I mean, it really doesn't alter the grain. It doesn't change where it is. But I'm worried you're going to take away from one side and not the other. And you're going to throw off that grain and say, well, she said I didn't have to change it. So always when you make a change, just redraw the grain. Okay? Easy enough? You guys can do this. Yay! All right, we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Bye.
Bye for now. Thank you.
You're welcome.